Okay. So hi guys, this module is basically about Instagram funnel. So what exactly I'm going to talk about Instagram funnel. Okay. So this lecture is actually nowhere related to something known as celebrity collab. Okay, because we have different separate modules on that as well. Okay. And this lecture is actually bomb. This is not going to be some technical or some strategy that you can actually involve, but this is something you have to practice it daily. And in fact, to be very fair, the Instagram growth is actually very easy. Okay. And but the factors that is going to stop you, that is something you have to fight a battle with yourself. Okay. So things that you are going to learn from this following module are as follows: that assumption that will stop your progress, how you can increase your English fluency, belief system and mindset that you need to have, belief system to execute things, actual application, and content calendar. And there is something I've just made a ready to post content for like all of you. Okay. Now just check the last three things. The actual application just starts over here, but these are all psychological doubt or the limiting belief that is holding you back to execute things. If you are going to fix this, these are actually just easy. This is hardly 20-minute strategy that you are going to execute. But to execute this 20-minute strategy, you need to build those four pillars so that you can opt in to the fullest. And yeah, I always tell people, never get technical. The moment that you get technical, that you are going to lose. It's not about technicality, it's more about psychology in all aspects. When it comes to business, or when it comes to sale, or when it comes to anything that you are building in, it's more about mindset change. And in fact, when I recorded this first version, when I was very surprised that, the people, those who got successful, it's more about mindset change only. And the technical thing actually comes and last. So let's start it to see that assumption that will stop your progress as I need to look good. Okay. Now just keep this objection aside. Okay. Or just keep this assumption aside. I'm going to explain it further. Okay. So you guys are fitness trainers, and there is a doubt in you that you don't post Instagram content, or you don't post Instagram stories or post because you are like too much absorbed by aesthetic. When I say aesthetic, let's say you might have like a 15-20% body fat, you still look lean, but you're still obsessed with the aesthetic, and you still feel low about yourself. Okay. And I've personally observed in a lot of like trainers and people from your industry, not just that, but you are not like the person that I've observed, but I've also observed with few of the influencers and celebrities, they actually look good. But yeah, this doubt of observing themselves like too much like aesthetic is going to stop your progress. But don't worry, I'm going to address that in like as the lecture begins. And the second assumption that you will have that is going to stop your progress is you need to have more time to make regular posts and stories. This is going to kill, I'm going to kill you this objection in the lecture itself. And yeah, I need to be fluent in English. This is one of the greatest objection that when starting to online business came across. And yeah, like this is very true for across Instagram. And don't worry, I will explain you with an example, and you can do that, how you can gain the English fluency. So let's start with the English fluency thing. Okay, this thing is actually going to blow up your mind. And this is something I discovered when I was in the second year of my college. And this was actually a life changing for me. And I'm going to give you the exact strategy, the exact tool that is going to make you a perfect warrior if you follow across. Okay, so see, I need to be fluent in English. Okay, I understand that you have to be fluent in English. Okay, so when I say fluent in English, so I don't mean grammar. Okay, so when I say fluency, fluency means the way you speak, the way you articulate things, the way you explain things. So basically, it does mean that. So one can have fluency, but his grammar can still go wrong. So this compartment are completely two different. So don't get confused. And nor I'm an English teacher, so I'm just going to tell you that thing that I followed and how I actually got very fluent in English. Okay, so see, I need to be fluent in English. Now, on the screen, you can see an example of an rusted sword. Okay, so when I say it's a rusted sword, okay, so this sword is basically like you. Okay, now let us assume that this sword is actually you, which is rusted. which is of no use right now at this position, and this is going to go for a war. And of course, you are not going to go on the war with this rusted sword, or this is the useless sword that you are not going to do that. So this is something that you will have a limiting belief. Now, just imagine, let's say an opportunity come towards you. Okay. Now, if you are going to live with this assumption that, I'm a rusted sword and that I'm not going to make it, so you won't actually step on this opportunity. The whole point of telling you this concept is, my goal is to tell you, you are a rusted sword. That's okay. And now we are going to sharpen the sword, and we are going to basically become a best version of ourselves. So you can actually practice your English fluency. Okay, so it's like you have to assume, see, this is a rusted sword, and yeah, you have to assume, I understand I'm at this position and I want to become that perfect sword. So to become that perfect sword, you have to make some sacrifices. You have to improve yourself. And okay, if you are assuming that this is going to stop my progress, this rusted sword will never become like this unless you are going to make daily effort. So whenever an opportunity comes to you, you have to show up, and you have to continuously sharpen your sword. So it's like, see, you have to assume, I'm a rusted sword. Now let's keep that aside. Now I'm going to improve, and I'm going to become the best version of myself, which I'm going to go for a battle. Okay. And this is basically, how exactly you can actually go and I will give you steps that you can actually practice your English fluency. So this is very simple. This is something known as 3 minutes rule that I actually do. So what I do, I actually watch my favorite movie, or I don't watch actually, but I actually remember my favorite movie. So let's say you might have some favorite movie, or you might have watch some YouTube videos that is actually your favorite. So what happens? You actually can tell a story of it, that movie, or you can speak about that topic, okay, in your native language or in some different language. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to pick any movie that you like, okay, and that actually you can tell a story of it. So you have to set a timer for 3 minutes, and you have to explain that movie in English. So under 3 minutes, you have to just explain that movie in English. So in English, you have to explain that movie. Okay, so it can be anything. Maybe you have let's say on Hotstar recently, there is a series that have got released that is known as Special Ops 1.5. So let's say if I watch that web series, and if I can tell the story of that web series in 3 minutes, that is something known as a great practice. Okay. And then second thing is, you can actually record yourself in front of videos, and you can just observe yourself. So what I've done, when I was in the college, I actually recorded, to be very fair, more than 200 videos I actually recorded in that year. And yeah, because during that time I was in a different zone, and I just wanted to improve myself. And to be honest, I did not had anyone to speak, because most of the people around me were not interested in such things. So I just grabbed the camera, and I just started speaking to myself. And later I found few people, but that was after 6-7 months. But during that time, I just created 200 videos. And in fact, I can actually show you if you want to see that how I have created. It's still there on YouTube. Actually, I've just make them private, but I actually recorded around 200 videos in the 6 months, just because I want to improve. The third thing is, you can actually join some Toastmasters or any club that where you can actually get an opportunity to speak. Or anyone who don't know Toastmaster, is basically, it's like an like a group of people gather, and they will give you a topic to prepare, and you have to present it in front of those people. Okay, it's basically when I was in that club, it was every Tuesday you have to pick a topic. They will give you in advance, and you have to prepare with one of your partner, and you have to present in front of them. So that is something you can join. And yeah, you can still join Toastmasters. So it's a worldwide club. It's still there, and there is no eligibility or no age bar. So you can actually just join any Toastmaster club. You can just Google them, Toastmaster club near me. So this will help you to get started. And second thing, as a bonus, you just show up to the Q&A, and in the Q&A at the end, you can actually just tell me, this is the topic that I've prepared, and I just want to practice it. Okay, so you can just like practice with the group members, or you can actually just get in the Q&A and in the wait till the end, and you can actually practice with us as well. Let's go to, and you will say, Sharon, this is actually boring. Yeah, I know this is boring, but remember, the greatest of all time, and if you want to become the absolute boss of your industry, or maybe the greatest of all time, you have to do the boring work. And there, like as one of my mentors says, the greatest of all time, do the boring work consistently. Okay, maybe your work is a little exciting as a entrepreneur and as a freelancer. This is so uncertainty, and this actually is the work in the start is very exciting, but after you find your pathway, it's little boring. So I understand, it's totally understand, but remember, if you want to be the greatest of all time, you have to do the boring work consistently. Just get this thing in your head. So if you want to be the greatest of all time, you have to do the boring work consistently, and it will going to show you compounding effect. Now, belief system and mindset that you need to have. Okay, so this is something all fitness trainers have. I need to look good actually, and in fact they look good. Okay, to be honest, like someone who is in their 15-20% body fat and who is lean, they still have this doubt. I'm not asking like who is someone in like 30-40 body fat. Of course they need to work on themselves, and of course, like, I'm not judging someone, but I'm just telling it look does do matters, but just I'm saying, you just have to be little lean, just like somewhere between 15-20 body fat, and you can actually, like, that's enough. Like, basically you don't have to that aesthetic, to create such videos or to create stuff, like, and yeah, this can be your goal, but see, that's a different thing. Okay, so don't confuse that thing in this business. Okay, so, and don't worry, I'm going to cover that, and this is going to blow up your mind. Okay, and in fact, I will tell you a book. Actually, you can read it, you can practice it, and you can actually reach to the greater height of the when as far as mindset is concerned. And I've done this personally. So that book has actually helped me in my personal life as well. I will tell you the book name in the end. Don't worry. So there is known as a concept known as self-image. So self-image is something that we in our own eyes see ourselves in a certain way. Okay, so for example, Sharon sees himself in a certain way, or let's say Ankit sees himself in a certain way, or Pratibha actually sees herself in a certain way. So it can be anything. So let's say Sharon want to do this, or he want to get this car, or he want to like speak in this way, or he want to meet such kind of people, or he want to wear such kind of clothes, or he want to travel to the places like this. And subconsciously and consciously we try to imagine ourselves in a certain way, and this is something is known as self-image. Now understand, this self-image is actually made out of experience, and this is the experience, that is the input, and this self-image is made up of output. So the amount of experiences you have, this will actually make your self-image. Let's say if I go to a good restaurant, or good, like a restaurant which has a good ambitions, and just I'm having a like ambience, sorry. So let's say I'm having a good experience, and this will actually build my self-image. So let's say you can observe, let's say when you go to a good restaurant which has a very good, great ambience that you actually like, or great little a kind of music that you like, and you are generally happy, and because this is something known as self-image. And maybe you actually take some stories to show off your friends, and maybe you can actually tell like your friends later, I just went to this place. And what you are going to do, you are actually experiencing something, and this is actually building a self-image. And after a while, maybe you would develop the habit that I would actually travel to this kind of places. Okay, maybe it's about, let's say, wearing kind of certain kind of clothes. Let's say you're too much into, like, you wear some semi-formal clothes, and this is something a part of your identity now. Okay, and this is actually building your self-image. So you might be like imagining yourself in formal clothes, okay, or maybe in some office doing your work, or maybe having big companies of your own. So this is like you are imagining yourself, and this will actually develop your self-image. Now imagine that, not imagine, it's actually true. So self-image is made out of experience, but understand this thing: our mind, subconscious mind, and central nervous system. Okay, so self-image is made out of experience, but this experience is actually diverted into this mind, subconscious mind, and central nervous system, and this form your self-image. But there is a catch in this. Our mind does not understand a difference between like experience and positive management. So can you just see these two words? So this turns yellow into red. So our mind does not understand the difference between experiences and positive imagination. So you can actually induce this effect. So let's say the self-image is made out of experience, but your mind does not differentiate between a real experience and positive experience. Okay. So to be very fair, like there is a concept, okay, in exercise science, something known as proprioception path. So this is similar to that. Okay, so let's say now if you're driving for the very first time and you are going to be very scared, but after let's say a month, you can actually like pick up a phone while driving and you can still drive in a much better way because your mind actually get used to it. Okay. And your self-image is like basically this self-image concept is basically made of that. So you can actually imagine yourself in a positive way. So let's say ki, maybe you can just get up and like I will tell you further like how you can actually induce positive imagination. So positive imagination, so you have to like in the at the very first place you have to assume that you are successful. Okay, so once you have to assume that you are successful, then you automatically start setting the steps. Okay, and this is something it is not thought just by me, but you can actually when you prepare for some competitive exam, so people just say ki you have to imagine yourself successful from a very first day. Okay, and when I started many businesses, in fact I remember when I started my e-commerce store, and I actually like, yeah, it wasn't successful, but I from the day when I started imagining that this was successful, this was successful. And in fact I actually raised 1 lakh rupees in a day for that store. And in fact if you go on the group, I have also shared the proof that how actually I did raise 1 lakh rupees and 1 day. So that is something I did it. So actually I was continuously imagining self like ki I'm going to be successful in this. And ki, so remember this following point. So every decision you make in life is based upon the past experience, and everything in life is meaningless unless you put a meaning to it. Okay, and ideas are not changed by will but other ideas. So this is something you have to observe it. I will tell you further like how ideas are not changed by will but other ideas. And never blame others. The loser self-image is always looking for scapegoat to blame the society and others. When I say like it's too much about aesthetic, but you are actually just blaming yourself, and you are just like harming yourself, and you are not going to take action because that's the loser self in you. It's just blaming you. And remember, our mind is machine and only negative feedback can destroy it. So as I said about this is the input and this is the output that you will get. So let's say this is the input, and if you're going to get a good output, so you have to feed in some good output. So you don't have to talk negative about yourself. Okay, so that is the greatest thing that you can actually do. So like see, our mind is actually is a machine, and you have to it's like work on the feedback mechanism. So this is something known as like blood glucose and pancreas insulin example. So don't get confused, but I just gave an feedback example. So let's say we eat something, our blood glucose rises, and our pancreas actually inject some like with the help of bile juice inject some insulin, and the like the blood sugar level in the blood then go down. Like basically it's like a feedback. So it's like input and output. So this is something, the feedback, you like the feedback system is actually that only. So you have to feed yourself in a positive way, and pathogen is actually like basically body don't like it. So if you're like thinking negative about yourself, that you are not going to change it. So imagine this, our mind is a machine and only negative feedback can destroy it. Okay, so again I will give you repeat the step for you. You have to induce positive imagination. You have to start imagining yourself successful. You can write your vision list, or maybe you can start getting dressing up in a very nice way. Okay, and I will tell you like what the changes that I did in my personal life. And this is something is actually like athletes do all the time, this concept. Okay, and in fact a lot of coaches, okay, teach this concept to their coaches, teach this concept to the athletes. Okay, so when I say athletes, I'm just saying to the top notch kind of athletes, just who are just great at their work. And this is something even the public speaker does. So basically he also does the same exercise that I'm going to tell you further. Okay, so imagine input and output. You have to imagine this is your self image and this is you're going to build. Now instead of experience, you can induce some positive imagination, and this is going to still works. And yeah, our mind still does not understand that. And changes that I did in my personal life. Okay, so see, I started dressing formally even for a video call. Okay, so I just imagine, okay, I'm just meeting that person in upfront, and this helped me to boost my work capacity since it was work from home. So basically you can understand it's so lazy environment, and it's quite difficult. So basically I just start getting up dressed in a very formal way, so that it will help me to start my lectures, my calls, and it actually boosts my work efficiency. The second thing I did is I changed my work ambience. I actually after when I started that my first breaking the domino course, actually in the very first month I actually got 10 students, and all those 10 students were high paying clients. So I just changed the entire furniture of my house. Okay, then I love to go in a good restaurant which has a great ambience, or the vibe. So basically, I just try to go there and I just observe the vibes from there. Like it's a kind of chill place. So I generally go over there, and this will help me to build my self-image. And yeah, I like to go in a quite expensive restaurant. Like I spend a lot when it comes to going in the restaurant, and do that regularly, because this also provoke my my sales target. Okay, but see, don't overdo this. Okay, because I don't used to do in the start, but when I started having good amount of cash flow, then I started doing it. But yeah, just it's something that I've done in my personal life, and you can do that. So for you, it can be something, it can be going to a gym. Okay, maybe you can you can take this example somewhere in a very expensive gym of your city. So the ambience and the music and the kind of people that you will meet will be different, or somewhere average gym. So basically you can just compare the same experience. For you, that can be one, because let's say if I like eating out, you might like working out, and gym might be your destiny, or maybe you like to go out. That can be one thing. So it totally depends. And see, now I have helped you to build up your English fluency at this moment. Like you can do it. Then the second thing, I have killed one of your limiting beliefs that you need to look good. Okay, that's cool. Perfect. Now, Sharon, what is this? So I'm going to tell you that belief system that you need to execute things. So let's say if you have a content to make, or if you have a target to make, if you have this belief system, you can actually easily execute these things. And why aren't you able to fulfill any project? It's actually very easy. The root cause is actually uncertainty and no schedule. So when we start our online business, or any kind of business, or our entrepreneurial journey, it's very uncertain and there is no schedule. That I totally understand. But when I started this out, and everyone will experience this uncertainty and no schedule. And don't worry, I'm not going to give you some timetable or not going to bore you. The solution is actually very easy. It's very simple. So let's say if I have a target to fill. So let's say this is my target to fill, that email sequence, making a PPT, uploading a testimonies. And let's say the total time needed for this is 7 hours. So instead of I am going to plan my schedule, I will just plan my target. I have to work 7 hours in any ways. I will do divided by 2 to 2 hours, or let's say 3.5 hours, and let's say take a break of 1 hour, 2 hours, and then execute this thing. Or let's say X and Y. So X is basically any number. So let's say if you work for let's 5 hours, and later in the night you work for 2 hours. So instead of making a schedule, don't make a schedule and don't waste your time. Straight, I am saying it's totally no in the start. Don't make a schedule and directly execute on this. Just fulfill target in number of hours. If let's say if the time required is for 7 hours, just execute that hours. Okay, basically you can just do it. Now, things that you have learned from the following module, that assumption that will stop your progress, how you can increase your English fluency, belief system and mindset that you need to have, belief system to execute things. So far you have learned this. And yeah, if you do this is going to skyrocket your journey, man. This is something, a gold mine. In fact, in most of the problem, there is no business problem. Actually we have personal problem that we reflect in our business life. Okay, so if you are able to do this, I have clear your assumption that is going to stop your progress. I've helped you with your English fluency. I've cleared your mindset doubt that you have when it comes to posting content on Instagram. And I've also tell you, okay, what kind of belief system you need to have so that you can execute things. And you will not give me the objection that, okay, I don't have time. And this will actually like learn. Now, further, you are going to learn the actual application, the content calendar, and like ready to post content that I have. And in fact, it's like this whole thing is actually prepared for you. You just have to apply it. It's like copy paste. So don't worry that, because since I have got everything covered for you. So let's start with this actual application. So this is something you can just start it. You can just set up a profile picture, a bio that I have already written with example, a basic setup. So just set up like around 9 to 12 posts. Okay. And the thing is, I've also shown some content bank in this. So see, this is something you can actually get it. So I will send you this file. Don't worry. So I've just written some bio example in this. So this is like my mission, or maybe this example too, like safe, keto and low carb lead by doctors and nutrition. So it depends, like you can just frame it according to your niche, or basically, and this is actually covered in like how you can pick up your niche in that lecture. So this is like that what content strategy you will do. So basically I've mentioned three pillars of, like, this is from my view. Okay, so for my like my niche, and also I've written it for your thing. So this is a total like a 17 pages file. You can actually get it. So key type of content, and in fact it also has a like content calendar. So let's say, for example, this. So let's say from Monday you can actually, let's say you can talk about your past like personal experience. So let's say on Monday you can share your personal, maybe your past mistake. You can see you are doing this and now you are doing this, and these are the possible mistake I've made. On Tuesday you can just post some informative posts which are education. On Wednesday maybe you can just share from motivation video, or you can do that thing. On Thursday you can just post some do's and don'ts of the market, or like let's say the thing that you are doing it. On Friday you can just post some testimonies regularly, and on Saturday you can just come live and do the Q&A. So basically this is something you can actually do it. Okay, and I've also got some color palette for you. You can actually select your own color palette and you can see, but to be very fair, I just keep it black and white because this actually saved my time. And in the start I actually did not had a good money amount of money to like hire a designer, so I just choose black and white, and this actually helped me to save a time and money in the start. In the start it actually helped me to save the money. Okay, then after that it was time, because I just choose black and white because it was not letting me think. So you have to just do that only. So just black and white. So I just choose that thing. So you can do that if you're just confused with the color. So this is something like you can write like key storytelling as your framework. Don't worry, and you'll get this file. Okay, so don't get confused right now at this moment. And in fact I have just like write the tone of voice, the people's opinion of you. So this is like I'm going to like planning in future, people will see in this opinion to me. Okay, so this is something you don't have to write your existing opinion, but you have to write something that you want to like become. So this is a 17 pages file. Okay, so this is something I've written for me, and then I've written for a fitness trainer's example. So don't worry, I've got everything. So maybe you can talk about, like, for example, this thing. You can talk about nutrition, you can talk about like a science, gym testimonies, and yeah, this is like it got everything covered. So you can actually like just check it out, and I will send you the file and you can just actually use it. And in fact, I've also got ready a content bank where you can actually just do it. Okay, so you can just post those content directly. So I've just mentioned this content bank in this, so you can actually directly get started with this. So there are many reasons, key, for example, this topic, gaining weight during lockdown. So I've like there are many reasons why people eat unhealthy, such as boredom, stress, happiness, depression, hunger, and you are only supposed to eat only when you're hungry. So this is actually like a long post. Okay, so you can just use it to set up your initial 9 posts that I've tell you. Okay, so you just have to set up, and you can use Canva for it. So Basically, this is a good amount of content. Okay, so it is not just covering basic, but it is also covering a deep topic such as the right way to use thyroid medicine. And in the bracket, I've just written overview because I don't want to give medical advice and it's not legal. So I just gave them like an overview. T3 is the active form, T4 is the inactive form, and things that can suppress your like thyroid function is cortisol, estrogen, insulin, bile, and liver juice, and you are not converting T4 into T3. So you have to convert the active form, like inactive form, to the active form. But there is a problem with your liver, and I've written in a very good way, so you can actually use it. So you will not waste time in your initial few days, and you'll just get started. So I've written some from basic level to very deep post, like controlling uric acid, about cholesterol, about thyroid, about PCOS. So it got everything covered, and even diabetes also. So this is something you'll get access to it, so you don't need to worry upon. Okay, now just like what you are going to do. This is something like we are going to do some a little bit of mindset meditation right now at this position. Okay, now just sit, relax to yourself. I'm going to just play music. Okay, so that this is going to help us. Just a second, I will just do it again. So just sit in a relaxed position. Okay, and let's start. Wait. Okay, am I audible? Like is the sound in the background audible to you? And am I audible as well? Just tell me that. Is the balance perfect? Just one. Okay, cool, perfect. Now let's start this. So this is something I do it all the time. Now see, in the start, when you start your journey, it's about input and about getting an output. It's about doing the reps. So let's say if you want to get fit, so you have to go to the gym daily. Okay, so don't confuse with this. So it's a hypothetical concept. Of course, one can work out 3 days a week and still get his journey started, but you have to put the reps. So in the start, you have to put the reps, and that is something will get you desired results. Okay, now literally imagine yourself. Okay, now relax. Now relax yourself and imagine you are on this road. Okay, and in every day you will have many decisions that you can either fulfill them for short-term happiness, or either you can use those decisions to make long-term decisions. So for example, you will have an option. Either you go to the gym, or either you go to the party with your friends. Either you invest time on your business, or either you just watch some Netflix series. Okay, so everyday life is just about making choices. Now just imagine that if you put action daily, imagine how your life is going to be after 3 months. Now just imagine how things are going to change for you after 3 months if you put continuous hard work for the next 90 days. Now just imagine how your life is going to be after 2 months, 60 days. Now just imagine how your life is going to be after 6 months. That is nearly 180 days of your hard work, and how things are going to change for you, for your business, and everything around you is going to change if you just put this hard work for 6 months. Now just imagine you just put the entire hard work for the next 1 year, and how your life is going to change, how your business is going to change. Now just imagine how your life is going to change after 2 years. Imagine the kind of things that you'll have in your life. Imagine how your life is going to change after 3 years. Imagine the kind of things that you'll have in your life. Imagine the kind of people that you're going to meet if you just put this consistent amount of work in this next 3 years, and how this is going to change for you. Just start imagining yourself. And the everyday life is actually just based on 2 decisions. Either you do it or you don't. And people, those who show up in the start. After a certain time, even they won't care about you. Now just imagine you have done nothing, and how your life is going to be after 3 months. Imagine that you have done nothing, you haven't taken any action, that how your life is going to be after 6 months. Now just imagine you have done nothing, haven't made any action, and how your life is going to be after 1 year. Now just relax yourself and go to the person that you are going to become after 1 year. And the amount of reps, the amount of input, and the amount of action that you are going to put, this is going to blow your mind. Or just imagine yourself, there won't be any regret. You will become the best version of yourself, and by simply putting action on daily basis. Now just relax yourself and just listen to the music for last 30 seconds. Cool. So yeah, so let me know. Like if you have any doubt, you can actually just, I will give a permission to just type in the chat box that if you have any doubt, I have a question, and I will just give you an opportunity to unmute yourself and you guys can ask. So I request, like, you can ask questions in like any language, that is English, Hindi. That are the two languages that I know, and even Marathi. So those are the language that you can ask any questions to me. So if you have a doubt, just type I have a question and you can just simply ask. I will just give you an opportunity to unmute yourself and you can just ask. So if you have a doubt, just ask, like, I have a question, and I will just give you an opportunity to okay. Yeah, Pratima, I've just given you an opportunity. Like you can just unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, yes. So you were talking about a book, na, that you just in the end.
Yeah, yeah. So, and thank you. Actually, I forget that thing to tell you. So the book name is Psycho Cybermetrics by Maxwell Muller. Okay, so
Cybermetry.
Psycho Cybermetrics. Wait, I will just send you the link. In fact, right now, I will show you on the screen and also wait. And thank you so much, yeah, like for just because I totally forget it.
No problem, sir.
Yeah, so this you can just take a screenshot of this Psycho Cybermetrics by Maxwell Malt, actually not Muller, but Malt. So basically, he's a like surgeon. He actually like it's a story actually, it's not a story, it's a true thing. Okay, so he was actually doing some cosmetic surgery and he was a master at that. And there is a lady who used to come up for a nose job. So basically she wants a perfect nose, and she comes after every 6 months, and I'm not looking good, and that lady was actually looking good. And this doctor, the surgeon, actually got worried, and he just went on and he discovered this concept, and he went to Germany to learn this, and he actually wrote the entire book on this. So you can just like, it's quite popular, and this actually help you to understand other belief also. And not just that, I will recommend one more book that you can actually read with the combination of this book. Actually, this is the extended, like that is the part 2 of this book. Wait, I will just tell the book name. But you can directly read this book as well. Just a second. Yeah, this book. out of the maze. So this will help you to understand people beliefs. So let's say this will help you with, so let's say more possibly in nutrition consultation also. So let's say if a person comes to you and let's say, I won't eat this kind of food, so you'll understand why he is so firm on this, your belief, like his belief system. So this is something that is not going to help you in that consultation, but also in your personal life, which I've, for me, it has helped. And yeah, it will help you as well. So you just read in the combination of these two books. So read this book first, or either read this. You can go in any sequence. So there is no sequence as such. So out of the maze, basically, in fact, there is one mindset lecture on this, not on this book, but in general. So if you read after that, you will understand things much easier. So after that lecture, you can actually start reading it. So this will help you to, you will understand now as well, but if you read it after that, it will help you to understand in much better way. Okay. So any more doubts like Pratibha? Okay. So anyone else who have a question? Okay, cool. All right. So I guess there are no questions. I'll just stop.